Hey, Adam here, and in today's video, I'm going to walk you through three fundamentally important marketing concepts known as strategy, sequence, and stacking that, when used correctly, which I'm going to show you how to do here, are all but guaranteed to help you get more customers, make more sales, and grow your business. So if you're interested, no, scratch that, if you're committed to making better marketing, building a better business, and creating products and services for people who care, then this is something you're going to want to pay attention to. So let me show you how it's done. Marketing is the single most important element to your business's success, but marketing is kind of a big term with a bunch of different and sometimes conflicting definitions. What's important to remember here, though, is that at the end of the day, marketing is about communicating value to your customers. So as long as you follow that path, you'll at least be heading in the right direction. Of course, heading in the right direction is important, but it's not enough to guarantee your success. So let me tell you a story. In December of 1911 and January of 1912, two explorers set out to conquer what had previously never been done. Their goal was to be the first person to reach the South Pole. And while both eventually succeeded in reaching the South Pole, the two explorers experienced wildly different outcomes on their return journeys back to the safety of base camp. The first, Roald Amundsen, a Norwegian explorer, succeeded. The second, Robert Falcon Scott, a British naval officer, died tragically along with 5 other members of his team. But here's the thing, both men were equally capable, equally equipped, and equally experienced. On paper, they each had an even chance to accomplish their goals and survive. So what happened? Why did one succeed and the other fail? More importantly, what does this have to do with marketing, making more sales, and growing your business? Well, my friend, the answer to those questions and the secret to our explorers' success and failure can be found in not just one, but 3 equally important elements: strategy, sequence, and stacking. So let me show you why these factors are so incredibly important to your business and marketing success, starting with strategy. Strategy is one of the most important elements of success, regardless of whether we're talking marketing or business or sports or war or life or anything really. But strategy, at least when it comes to marketing, is also one of the least used and least understood parts of marketing. So what exactly is strategy anyway? Well, a strategy is really nothing more than a plan. It typically involves setting some kind of goal or objective, then working backwards to figure out the steps and actions required to achieve that goal. Strategy is not the specific set of actions, steps, or tactics that are going to be used. Those are just parts of the strategy, and I'll cover them in just a minute. Rather, strategy is the big picture stuff, the what you want to achieve, and the high-level overview of how you're going to achieve it. For our South Pole explorers, they each had different strategies. Amundsen, who succeeded and survived, and Scott, who failed and sadly perished. First, they both made strategic decisions when they chose to use different equipment. Amundsen chose skis and dog sleds, which he was familiar with, and they ended up working well. Scott, on the other hand, chose dogs, ponies, motor sledges, and skis. The ponies, well, they didn't work so well, and one of the motor sledges actually fell in the water. Next, they made strategic decisions in regards to supplies. Both had ration depots along the way with food and fuel, but Amundsen took the time to ensure his depots were properly marked and his food and fuel were stored properly. Scott, on the other hand, missed some of his depots and had to waste hours searching for them. He also miscalculated his fuel supply, which was obviously pretty important to keep warm when you're trekking to the South Pole. Their planned routes were also slightly different. Scott chose a path he was familiar with, but that was more dangerous and at a higher altitude, while Amundsen opted for a shorter route. Weather plays another important part, which admittedly is out of anyone's control. However, Amundsen planned on leaving and arriving earlier. Scott planned on later, which meant he had to return during the colder months of February and March. The point here, though, is that all of these factors and decisions make up their overall strategy and plan. It's clearly important, but the sequence they followed to execute their strategy was just as important in determining their success and failure. So let's talk about sequence next. In any given situation, there are a number of things that need to be done in order to accomplish your goals. If we look at a marketing campaign, for example, the first thing you need to do is determine what exactly it is that you're trying to promote. I appreciate this sounds pretty straightforward, but making sure you have the right offer in place, as well as a good follow-up system and marketing funnel, well, they can really make or break your campaign before it even gets off the ground. From there, you need to determine what market segment to target. This usually means creating a buyer persona, ideal customer avatar, or target market profile, which are essentially 3 different terms that all pretty much mean the same thing. Then it's time to figure out the message and the specifics around your offer and messaging that'll allow you to clearly communicate the value of what you're offering and why someone should care enough to take action. You need to be able to clearly answer questions like, why should they care? What'll it do for them? Why this? Why now? Why you? Then it's time to figure out where your target market is present and active online and offline, and go there, and only there. But simply knowing the steps isn't enough. You need to know the right order and sequence they go in. And this is how truly effective and profitable marketing campaigns are built. By creating a strategy and sequence that meets your clients and customers where they are, takes them by the hand, and then guides them to where they want to go. In the case of our explorers, how their strategies played out is a matter of the sequence they followed, a series of sub-steps and tasks they needed to accomplish along the way, and the specifics surrounding each phase of their journey. For example, both had a strategy to place depots to restock supplies along their path, but only Amundsen assured they were as easy to find as possible and well stocked with sufficient supplies. There's still one more piece here though that can make all the difference between success and failure. And that is the secret of stacking. One of the most powerful forces in the world of business is momentum, the art of getting something moving and keeping it moving. Momentum and consistency is how both large and small business empires are built. Little by little, brick by brick, consistently moving forward and growing, serving, leading, learning, stacking one action, one asset, one win on top of another, and constantly improving and optimizing things along the way. But here's the thing. The results of stacking things like this aren't linear. They're exponential, with future wins being compounded at a much faster rate, thanks to being built on a solid foundation and history of success. Now, sometimes there are market catalysts that can trigger a sudden and unexpected growth spurt for a business. These could be a new opportunity, the loss or exit of a competitor, or some kind of innovation. But sadly, more often than not, these sudden increases in demand, or sales, or team size often lead to a company's downfall. It's not that growth isn't good, it's that they're unprepared for the growth, either in their supply, their infrastructure, or their ability to deliver on what they've just promised to sell. This is why slowing down to speed up later is one of the most valuable and equally hard things to do for any business. To consciously hold back, even just a little, to protect the business as a whole, and to prioritize consistency above all else. It's not fancy, but it works. For example, a daily commitment to creating content marketing for your business can mean the launch of a new blog, or podcast, or YouTube channel, or social media presence, or newsletter, all in as little as 30 minutes a day. But it needs to be every day. Not 3 hours this week and 0 the next, because when that happens, you start to lose momentum, and starting something from scratch is 10 times harder than simply keeping it going. So daily consistent action is the key. Throughout their journey, both Amundsen and Scott took 2 very different approaches to making progress. Amundsen stuck to a strict schedule and prioritized resting up to 16 hours each and every single day in order to ensure a healthy team. This meant never going too far or pushing too hard when things were good, holding back a little when the weather was good and the team was feeling healthy. But it also meant still suiting up and braving the elements when the bad weather set in. Scott, on the other hand, let the weather and outside forces influence his actions, which meant pushing far too hard and driving his team to exhaustion on good weather days, trying to do too much, too soon. But then staying out of the elements and complaining about the weather on bad weather days. Unsurprisingly, the steady and consistent logging of miles kept Amundsen and his team consistently making progress, while simultaneously staying as rested and recovered as possible. In the end though, it wasn't any one single factor that resulted in success over failure. Just like in business, Amundsen's success was in effectively leveraging the powerful combination of strategy, sequence, and stacking. If you'd like to take this a step further though, to really unlock a powerful secret to grow your business, then you need to understand something called market sophistication. And this is why the next thing you're going to want to do is check out the video I have linked up right here, which will show you a proven way to make more sales and beat the competition. So make sure to check that out now, and I'll see you in the video. There are other people out there who are offering something similar or exactly the same as whatever it is that you do. This is why in level 1, all you really needed to do was make a claim.